Bitcoin's code is free. Anyone can download it, anyone can read it, anyone can copy it. And for the last 15 years, thousands of developers have done exactly that. They've copied Bitcoin's code, changed a few lines, launched their own version, and promised the world something better. A faster Bitcoin, a cheaper Bitcoin, a greener Bitcoin, a smarter Bitcoin. Some of these projects weren't scams. Some introduced genuine technical improvements. Some solved problems Bitcoin deliberately refused to solve. Yet today, Bitcoin still stands alone. It remains the largest cryptocurrency on Earth, the most recognized, the most secure, the most trusted. In almost every other industry, better technology eventually wins. New companies replace old ones, faster software replaces slower software, superior products push outdated ones into history. So why didn't that happen to Bitcoin? Why have thousands of developers successfully copied Bitcoin's code, yet failed to build another Bitcoin? The answer has almost nothing to do with programming, and everything to do with one invisible asset that no software engineer can write into code: trust. For years, the cryptocurrency industry believed Bitcoin's dominance was temporary. The logic seemed obvious. Bitcoin was the first, not the final version, just as the first mobile phone wasn't the best, the first search engine wasn't the best, and the first social network certainly wasn't the best. Innovation would eventually catch up, then surpass it. So developers got to work. Some made transactions faster, others made fees cheaper, others focused on privacy, some redesigned the entire blockchain from the ground up. On paper, many of these projects looked impressive. Some could process far more transactions than Bitcoin ever could. Some consumed only a fraction of Bitcoin's energy. Some added features Bitcoin intentionally left out. Technically speaking, many of them were better machines. Yet something strange happened. Despite all those improvements, people didn't abandon Bitcoin, institutions didn't abandon Bitcoin, developers didn't abandon Bitcoin, miners didn't abandon Bitcoin. In fact, as more competitors appeared, Bitcoin somehow became even stronger. That should make you uncomfortable, because it completely breaks the way we normally think about technology. We assume better products naturally win. But Bitcoin doesn't behave like a product, and that's where almost everyone begins asking the wrong question. They ask, what makes Bitcoin better? Instead, they should be asking, what exactly is Bitcoin? Because the moment you answer that question correctly, everything else suddenly makes sense. Most people think Bitcoin is software. It isn't. Or more accurately, the software is the least valuable part of it. Imagine creating a brand new language tomorrow. You remove every confusing grammar rule, design a cleaner alphabet, make every sentence more logical. Objectively, it might be a better language than English. But who would speak it? Probably almost nobody. Not because it's badly designed, but because language isn't valuable because of grammar. Language becomes valuable because millions of other people already use it. Its value doesn't live inside the dictionary, it lives inside the people. Money works exactly the same way. A currency has value because other people accept it. Without that shared belief, it's just paper or numbers on a screen. Bitcoin follows the same principle. Every new person who trusts the network makes it slightly more valuable for everyone already inside it. Every exchange that lists Bitcoin strengthens the network. Every merchant that accepts it increases its usefulness. Every developer who improves the protocol makes it more resilient. Every miner securing the blockchain makes attacking it more expensive. None of these participants know each other, yet together, they create something far larger than software: a network. And once a network reaches a certain size, something extraordinary begins to happen. The network itself becomes the product. That's the mistake thousands of Bitcoin competitors made. They thought they were competing against code. In reality, They were competing against 15 years of human coordination. That difference changes everything, because software can be copied in an afternoon. A network cannot. There is no shortcut to trust. No software update can instantly convince millions of strangers to believe in the same system. Trust has only one currency: time. And Bitcoin has been quietly accumulating it since January 3, 2009. Every block added to the blockchain is more than another page in a ledger. It's another day the network kept its promise. Every transaction confirmed. Every attempted attack resisted. Every market crash survived. Every prediction of Bitcoin's death that proved wrong added another layer of credibility. That credibility became one of Bitcoin's most valuable assets. Ironically, it's the one asset no competitor could inherit. A new blockchain can launch with faster technology, lower fees, instant finality, better scalability. But on the day it launches, one question remains impossible to answer. Will people still trust it 15 years from now? Bitcoin no longer has to answer that question. History already has. And perhaps the greatest proof arrived, long before most people even noticed. In 2010, Bitcoin's mysterious creator, known only as Satoshi Nakamoto, quietly disappeared. No farewell interview, no press conference, no public explanation, just a handful of emails, and then silence. Think about how extraordinary that is. Imagine the founder of the world's most valuable technology company simply walking away. No board of directors, no replacement CEO, no emergency meeting with investors, nothing. By every rule of modern business, Bitcoin should have collapsed. Who would maintain it? Who would make the important decisions? Who would fix future problems? Who would investors trust? Instead, something completely unexpected happened. Nothing. The network continued producing blocks, developers continued improving the software, miners continued securing the blockchain, users continued sending transactions. Bitcoin simply kept working, not because somebody was in charge, but because nobody was. That moment revealed Bitcoin's greatest invention. It wasn't blockchain technology, it wasn't digital scarcity, and it wasn't cryptography. It was proving that a monetary network could survive without depending on any single human being. The creator disappeared. The network didn't even blink. That isn't normal. It's almost unprecedented. Most revolutions remain tied to their founders. Companies rise and fall with visionary CEOs. Political movements weaken when their leaders disappear. Even open-source projects often struggle when their original creators leave. Bitcoin did the opposite. Its creator became less important with every passing year. And that wasn't a flaw. It was the design. Satoshi understood something many people still struggle to grasp. If Bitcoin depended on him, it had already failed. So he removed himself from the equation. And in doing so, he gave Bitcoin something no competitor could ever copy: a history of surviving without authority. That's when another misunderstanding begins. People often say Bitcoin is valuable because there will only ever be 21 million coins. Scarcity certainly matters. But scarcity alone has never created value. There are countless abandoned cryptocurrencies with fixed supplies. They are scarce. Almost nobody wants them. Old collector's items become scarce. Forgotten technologies become scarce. Even mistakes become scarce. Scarcity without trust creates nothing. Bitcoin combines scarcity with something infinitely harder to manufacture: predictability. Every participant knows the monetary rules in advance. No politician can suddenly increase the supply. No executive team can quietly issue more coins. No government meeting can rewrite Bitcoin's monetary policy overnight. Whether the price goes up or crashes by 80%, the rules remain exactly the same. That consistency has become one of Bitcoin's greatest strengths. Because people don't just trust Bitcoin, They trust that tomorrow, it will still follow the same rules it follows today. And once millions of people begin organizing their financial decisions around that expectation, changing networks becomes far more difficult than changing software. At that point, you're no longer competing against technology. You're competing against human behavior itself. Human behavior has always been the hardest thing in the world to change. History proves it again and again. The technologies that reshape civilization rarely win because they're technically perfect. They win because enough people gradually decide to trust them. The internet wasn't the first global network. Smartphones weren't the first mobile computers. Bitcoin wasn't even the first attempt at digital money. Projects like DigiCash, eGold, and Hashcash all came before it. Some introduced brilliant ideas. Some solved real technical problems. Yet none became the foundation of a new monetary network. Why? Because technology alone has never been enough. People have to believe. Developers often think the hardest part of building a cryptocurrency is writing secure code. In reality, writing the code is the easy part. The difficult part is convincing millions of strangers, people who will never meet each other, to voluntarily coordinate around the same set of rules for years or even decades. That cannot be engineered overnight. It has to emerge slowly. Bitcoin earned that trust. One block at a time, one market cycle at a time, one crisis at a time. Every exchange collapse it survived, every government ban it outlived, every prediction of its death that proved false, strengthened the network a little more. Ironically, Bitcoin became stronger, not because it avoided crises, but because it survived them. Each survival became evidence. Evidence that the system worked, evidence that nobody could simply switch it off, evidence that the rules remained intact, even under pressure. That kind of reputation compounds. It becomes self-reinforcing. The longer Bitcoin survives, the harder it becomes to imagine a world without it. And that creates a challenge every new cryptocurrency faces. Not a technological challenge, a psychological one. Imagine launching the perfect blockchain tomorrow. Instant transactions, zero fees, infinite scalability, perfect privacy. On paper, it would outperform Bitcoin in almost every measurable category. But one question would still remain. Why should billions of dollars leave a network that has earned 15 years of trust for one that has earned 15 minutes? That's the problem no white paper can solve. No marketing campaign can manufacture. No venture capital funding can buy. Trust cannot be copied. It has to be lived. That's why thousands of developers have successfully copied Bitcoin's code. Yet none have copied Bitcoin itself. Because Bitcoin was never just software. It became a living network, a shared belief, a system that exists because millions of people independently choose to keep it alive. Every single day. That may be Bitcoin's greatest innovation. Not digital money, not blockchain, not decentralization, but proving that strangers from every corner of the world can coordinate around a monetary system without asking anyone for permission. The next time someone says, "I'll just build a better Bitcoin," remember this: they can copy the code, they can improve the technology, they can redesign the blockchain, but they cannot download 15 years of credibility. They cannot clone millions of independent participants, and they cannot recreate the history that transformed an experimental project into one of the most important financial networks on Earth. The greatest secret behind Bitcoin's value was never hidden inside its code. It was hidden inside human behavior. And that may be the one thing no technology will ever be able to duplicate. So here's a question worth thinking about. If trust, not technology, is what gives Bitcoin its real strength, what would it actually take for another network to earn that same trust? Because the answer to that question may determine the future of money itself. The story doesn't end here, because the future of money is still being written. This is Coin Gazetter. See you in the next one.